Caritas means love.
Caritas Nairobi is a Catholic aid and social development department of the Catholic Archdiocese of Nairobi, dedicated to working with local communities by empowering them to be agents of their own development through tackling poverty and social injustices.
My name is Reverend Father Peter Kieri. For the last 7 years, I've been serving as the Deputy Finance Administrator. And currently, I've been given this mandate to lead this department of Caritas Nairobi as the director. Caritas Nairobi was started by the servant of God, Maurice Michael Cardinal Otunga, back in the year 1973. And with it, we carry through our mandate through various thematic areas. For example, food security. We also have another intervention, charitable homes, centers, and relief. Here we have a number of homes that we run within the Archdiocese of Nairobi. Some of them are for girls, others are for boys, others are for people with various challenges like the HIV. And maybe to mention some of these homes, we have Kwetu Home of Peace, Rescue Dada, Joy Home of Peace in Garariga. We also have Boys Town in Ruai. Another thematic area that we deal with at Caritas Nairobi is gender and the youth. We have another program which is known as the Socio-Economic Empowerment Program. Previously we used to call it the Self-Help Program. Under this program, I would maybe give a history of it a little bit. We started in the year 1983 with the servant of God, Maurice Michael Cardinal Otunga, in the remote villages of Kiriko Parish in Gatodo North constituency, so to say, Mangu Dinari. The vision of the servant of God was a way in which he can bring people together, bring their resources together, and help them be able to save, and therefore instill in them a culture of saving. And after saving, they could borrow at a very low interest rates among themselves, because they guarantee one another in a model that we call a sharing for a sharing. And they guarantee one another because of the friendship and the communion that they have established within that small local community where they know each other. Then after that, they are able to go and do their various, meet their various needs.
The role of Caritas in Nairobi is very deeply rooted in the Trinitarian love of God, because Caritas means love. It started with a very few people in a very rural parish, and now it has gained roots and strength in the entire diocese and far beyond the diocese, because the Archdiocese of Nairobi with its Caritas doesn't stop in helping the people of Nairobi alone, but goes out even to other dioceses, Lodwar, for example, Marsabit, and many other dioceses that are in great need.
Caritas Nairobi self-help program was started in 1983 at Our Lady of Fatima Kiriko Parish in Gatundu North, with the aim of empowering communities and enhancing self-reliance.
Why he started is that that time parents had difficult time, especially in getting school fees and their livelihood, and therefore he wanted to put them together so that they can help one another to sort out the issues and to come up out of the poverty, that they're empowered to work and work hard and to plan for themselves. Yeah? So it as humanitarian means that it's not dishing the money or whatever. No, it's people coming together, develop together, work together, and because they have worked together, they can share the resources. But they must put their input.
Under the visionary guidance of the servant of God, Maurice Michael Cardinal Otunga, the program has evolved, introducing various initiatives aimed at alleviating poverty and addressing social injustices.
nĩ hĩndĩ ĩyo nĩ kĩama gĩkĩ ithuĩ twagĩtaga kĩrĩndĩti.
Kĩrĩndĩti o nĩguo nĩguo gĩetagwo.
Twareheirwo nĩ Batha Mũkui agĩtwĩra nĩegũtuonia kĩama aronire nĩgetha na nĩ gĩa kanitha twaruta mbia-rĩ tũgakombanĩra na iria ingĩ-rĩ tũngĩkahota-rĩ no ithiĩ wabici tũigĩrwo nĩgetha iciarage kũrutagwo maciaro kũu tũgoka tũkaheo maciaro.
Rĩu niĩ rĩtwa rĩakwa njĩtagwo Simon Iraki Gacũgũna. Niĩ nĩ ngũririkana atĩ nĩ ndeteithagia tondũ tarĩ gũkũ nĩ ndĩrarĩmaga kahũa na kahũa gakinya hĩndĩ ĩrĩa ya kũgethwo-rĩ nĩ ndagĩthiaga ngaiyũria kabomu ngakĩheo mbia na nĩ ndakinya kũrĩhwo-rĩ ngakĩrĩha.
No gĩkundi gĩkĩambĩrĩrio-rĩ niĩ ndarĩ ho na nĩ nderĩtwo nĩ mũtumia ũngĩ wetagwo Jane akĩnjĩra gwĩ gĩkundi kĩrathondekwo Kĩriko na niĩ ngiuga na niĩ nĩ ngũthiĩ. Ndakĩrĩho kĩambĩrĩria na tũgĩthiĩ ta thikũ ithatũ ũguo gĩtathuranĩtwo no tũgĩcoka tũkĩona gũtirĩ gĩkundi kĩngĩthiĩ na mbere gĩtaramenyeka cemani nũ Tureca nũ secretary nũ tũgĩthurana twathurana-rĩ niĩ ngĩthurwo Tureca.
Kĩama gĩkĩ twambĩrĩirie na Batha Mũkui ũrĩa mũkũrũ tiga ũrĩa ũrarĩrĩirie rĩu. Twambĩrĩria we atwĩrire kĩama kĩu tũgũthondeka ta Juakari tondũ gũtikĩrĩ mũndũ warĩ mũthomu mũno. Tũthomo twitũ nũkĩona nĩ tũthomo tũtũ twathĩ twakinya ta rĩu niĩ ndakinyĩte 8 iria cia tene angĩ gũkĩrĩ arĩa marĩ secondary ta chairman witũ.
I'm Father Michael Mungai Mwaura. I started working in 1984 in the Development Office or Office of the Socio-Economic Development. And then in our office, there used to come people mostly in January who were coming with the stories that my daughter or my son passed KCPE and we have come to request for a grant that I may take our child to high school. So we used to help them, and those people also who are starting their own small businesses, we used to help them to start their own small kiosks of selling maybe sukuma wiki. We used to give them some money to start the business. Father Mukoi, Joseph the late, had started Saves and Credit, a program in his own parish where he was working at Kiriko Parish. And then we visited the parish and we understood what he was trying to do. And due to that problem of people coming to the office every January and those who wanted to start small businesses, then we thought of returning people to their own parishes. And then we started a self-help. We went to all the parishes in the Archdiocese of Nairobi with my assistant, Mr. John Chege, and we were talking to people about starting their own Saves and Credit. The Cardinal told me, so it is your pout, my pout, somebody else's pout that helps one of them. And he told me we are not going to call it Saves and Credit. So he told me the right way to start it and to call it is self-help, that we are helping one another. So that is where the name self-help came from.
When this program was initiated, it became so relevant, particularly to the farmers. More importantly, because small-scale business people and small-scale farmers were disadvantaged by the formal cooperatives, because the formal cooperatives were accessed by employed people or the then credit unions, which were crop-based, like a cash crop, like coffee, tea, milk, and so forth. But not everybody, especially the small-scale and people with low income, not everybody had access to the same. Program became very meaningful, and that is why there was a direct interaction between the two. So in a short while after I joined a development office, therefore I developed a passion in the program, and I also started assisting the then program coordinator, who was also a Father Mungai by name Mzee John Chege. We started interacting, and because by then the office had very few staff. In fact, we were 4 staff, and therefore we could join hands to do all the programs. But now, being a food security coordinator, there was that passion because of the need of the farmers. So over time, the director appointed me now to start assisting Mr. John Chege in the program. And the program was getting shape, and the demand for proper coordination and creating awareness and building capacity to the leaders of the same program was becoming inevitable. In the process of the growth, initiating the program in the parishes, there was a need for a very smooth coordination so that we ensure efficiency and ensure that we are able to reach in every corner of the diocese. Therefore, the process of evolution and enhancing, there is a proper inclusivity and good governance. There was a creation of an advisory committee drawn from self-help group leaders at zone level. Therefore, a zone could produce one person to represent that whole zone at development office level.
My name is Eric Gishobi. I'm the Socio-Economic Empowerment Coordinator at Caritas Nairobi. I've been in this position for the last 10 years plus, journeying with the communities within the Archdiocese of Nairobi to enhance their social and economic well-being. The self-help program is now 40 years old since it was started. And I would say the 20 members who started the program, they had a vision of growing themselves. And when they started contributing the first 20 shillings, I'm not very sure they saw the program at where it is today. I'm saying this because this program, when it started, and they were very instrumental. Actually, they were very instrumental to where the program is today. Why am I saying this? When they were given the task by Father, they were not selfish. There were only 20 of them, but from there, they decided to take it upon themselves, of course with the assistance of the late Father Mukui, to go from one parish to another to spread the news of this good news that Father has given them. They were not very sure of what good news it was. They only knew we are saving, then we'll be assisted by the parish to do our farming and also to educate our children. So when they were taking this message to other parishes, there are so many other parishes which took up that particular message. And we have seen from the 20 members who started, this program has really impacted so many members. We have members who have come to the program, they have their objectives or their needs, the needs have been achieved, they have exited, maybe to higher level need-seeking kind of initiatives. So we have seen a program that was started to enhance the livelihood of the people, doing that over those years. Today, we have a total membership of 176,000, more than, because the members are still growing, the statistics is still growing. But again, we look at how many have joined over time. One of the key milestones today is the development of the self-regulatory framework This is a framework that is recognizing the unique model that we have as a program, but again bringing in the aspect of safety, the aspect of confidence to the members or to the beneficiaries and to the stakeholders that we are serving with, and also bringing the confidence to the church that what we are doing is indeed helping us to achieve the core mission of why we started the program.
Self-help regulatory framework was born out of the need to regulate the self-help movement, which over the years had tremendously grown. And it was a response to the dynamic business growth, and also for the need of ensuring that the self-help movement is regulated to ensure that they operate within a certain framework. This framework was to set out certain standards that would need to be adhered to. These standards would involve standards on operations, standards on financial reporting, standards on ethical behavior, and standards on governance. The self-help movement has grown tremendously. First, the movement was, in terms of net worthness, was about 7 to 8 billion Kenya shillings. But over the last 10 years, this has grown to close to about 20 billion shillings, and therefore there was need to regulate. There was need to ensure that the self-help groups leadership get together to ensure that there is that framework of standards to ensure that the assets are well protected. The self-regulatory, which is opposed to mandatory regulations, is set on about 4 levels. One, at the level of the group, self-help groups. The other one at the level of advisory council. The other one at the level of Caritas Nairobi. And now it will be at the level of the regulatory authority. All those levels will ensure certain levels of compliance. At the group level, it will ensure that those elected in leadership are people of integrity and have experiences in leadership. It will also entail that the leadership put in place at group level are also able to recruit competent staff that also have good backgrounds in terms of professionalism and in terms of qualification. At the advisory level, this is where the council sits and interrogates whether the set standards are complied with, and also be able to share various experiences at the individual levels of self-help groups. At Caritas level, the regulation will be conducted through the quasi-external audit function, which for small self-help groups are supported in this area by Caritas, but for big ones, there is move to ensure that professionals, particularly from the accountants profession, are contracted to provide external audit. At the level of the regulatory authority, which will be put in place, the regulation will entail being able to ensure that the standards are complied in detail. It will also, at the regulatory level, the authority will be able to assess various risks that would affect the operations of the self-help groups.
The first community to benefit from the concept was Kiriko Parish.
The first community to benefit from this concept was Kiriko Catholic Church, and later on within the same deanery, that is Mangu, other groups were also established. With the struggles, definitely, on the ground, as we know, those communities, they are rural communities within Kiambu County, and since there were no structures on the ground, what happened is that as the groups also established themselves, and there was no proper leadership, there was no proper systems on the ground, something happened like for 9 years, those groups they were struggling. And at a particular moment, they went down. I got a tough experience when I joined the program. I inherited the groups that were scattered all over, the groups that were struggling to survive. Actually, a good number of the groups that were already established, they had already gone dormant, and we needed to work on their revival. With some help, I'm glad to say this, that we are able to put our minds together with the technical team that I found in the office. That we decided to start reviewing the guidelines and trying to develop some policies which could support us help these groups.
With the establishment of the Caritas microfinance.
One of the great achievements of this movement, apart from the member economic empowerment, is that as the movement grew, the members muted the idea of starting a microfinance bank, which is now known as Caritas Microfinance Bank.
Talk about the origin of the bank without talking about Kiriko Parish. Kiriko Parish is like the genesis of Caritas Microfinance Bank. It is significant impact, not just on the Caritas Microfinance Bank itself, but on the people that have been touched through the 207 groups, the families that have been touched throughout that period. Currently, almost 200,000 members are benefiting from the 207 groups. Significant investments. You go for their AGMs today, 2024, and you can see the vibrancy, the joy the families have when they are coming to partake in the dividend. As a bank, we also owe them our vision and mission, because in the bank we say tuimarisha jamii, and that is our tagline. Tuimarisha jamii. The families are the ones that started those self-help groups, and so the bank came and started building on the culture, the rallying call of empowering the families. And for the last 8 years, the bank has just been working very, very closely with the self-help groups. Remember, 50% of the money that was used to set up this bank came from the same self-help groups.
Indeed, the future of the Caritas Nairobi self-help group is great.
Today, when we look back, we thank God for the passionate success.
The servant of God was alive today, he would be very, very proud of what has come of his idea and the economic impact it has had on the Christians, not only of the Catholic faith, but also of other faiths, including Muslims.
I want to call upon well-wishers, our Christians, and even our priests within our parishes, that we team up with Caritas Nairobi as one big family, so that we can continue the mission of the church, which is evangelization. And this evangelization is not only by preaching on the pulpit, but even by these socio-economic interventions.
I'd like to congratulate Caritas for celebrating 40 years. And 40 years has a lot of meaning in the Bible. 40 years is a complete number. The people of Israel, they stayed for 40 years in the wilderness, coming from Egypt to Canaan. So the Caritas has moved now from Egypt to Canaan. So already they're in Canaan, celebrating 40 years.
As we celebrate 40 years, to increase and enhance their prayers for the canonization of Maurice Cardinal Otunga. Let his presence in us be what he wanted us to do, and he desired to be done in the spirit of Caritas that he founded 40 years ago.
Join us as we continue this journey towards greater self-reliance and social justice with Caritas Nairobi.